Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Making More Possible podcast. I'm Keisha Jackson.
And I'm Wendy Ditmore, and we're your hosts today. Each episode, we're joined by leaders and executives from our International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, the Black Channel Partner Alliance, and Microsoft to have open discussions about allyship, addressing underrepresentation of Black and African Americans within our tech community, how to inspire new tech leaders, and then how we're all working to drive change within our communities, both near and far.
Yes, and we are extremely grateful to have Microsoft partner and president and CEO of Safe PC Cloud, Medina Ali. Medina has been a part of the Microsoft partner ecosystem for 5 years.
Yes, I'm happy to be here, ladies. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. So, Medina, given that you're a partner who has remained actively engaged, we're going to kick off this discussion to explore the concept of partnership through your lens. So, tell us
Okay.
a little bit about what partnering with Microsoft has meant to you and your organization.
Well, the Microsoft partnership, first of all, it has meant a lot um, to my organization because, first of all, I've had the opportunity to be a part of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee of the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners. I also serve as the co-lead for the WIT Network Atlanta. So being involved in those organizations has given me the opportunity to partner with other Microsoft partners, develop relationships with Microsoft, and also see firsthand how Microsoft is very committed to diversity and inclusion, particularly for women as well as African Americans. My philosophy about partnership is a two-way street. I think sometimes partners have the perception that Microsoft is a multi-billion dollar company and it should give me something. But I feel that through the partnership, particularly through the Cloud Enablement Desk, through the Women in the Cloud Accelerator Program, they have given me guidance to assist me in growing my business. We have tremendously grown through strategic partnerships. We're indirect with Cinex. We've been able to grow with the Microsoft 365 tremendously due to the pandemic, moving our clients to Azure, to data backup cloud services, implementing multi-factor authentication in terms of security. Over the past year, we have grown. And one of the good things about the partnership is that all the technology companies were all pivoting together with Microsoft. And they were able to give us the collateral, the marketing materials, the training in order to support our clients really during a difficult time. So again, I think we have to understand that partnership is a two-way street because when you hit your sales and targets number, last year we achieved the Microsoft Silver status. And right now we're working on our Microsoft Gold status. But that's having a weekly plan with the Cloud Enablement Desk, working closely with Cinex, working closely with partners within BCPA on a weekly and a bi-weekly basis.
Man, that's incredible. And what do you think then really has contributed to your success within that full ecosystem?
Well, one of the things I think Microsoft and IMACP is very good at doing, how can we help each other instead of focusing on being competitors? What are you better at versus what I'm better at? For example, one of our partners, Gryphon Consulting, led by Frank Valdivieso. Frank had a lot more knowledge than I did around networking. And last year, one of our larger printing companies, they do a lot of printing for one of the largest medical facilities here in Atlanta. And remember, because of COVID, the medical facilities, they had to reprint, they had to really, as we say, digital transformation, they had to really, we had to really upgrade their network. And Frank stepped in to help my company, help our engineers, help us build that capability. And I mean, it just really, it really helped us grow in such a way. And he was just like, I want you to continue to build that relationship with that client. I want you to grow your business. You go into other networks, and when you're working with other small businesses, they may see you as a competitor. The way we work through the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, we call on each other to assist one another, to help the other person grow. We also have evolved a lot in training. And so a couple of years back, I created the Safe PC Ed Tech division. And one of our partners here through the United Way of Greater Atlanta have a career compass program. And I said, Frank, we need you to do training around apprenticeships. I need these young people, I need these, particularly these young African-American men, to see you in a leadership role. And he was able to, you know, give his time and speak. And now his company is one of the partners for Compass Academy. And the reason why I was able to reach out to him, because I knew what he was able to do from a network engineering perspective. And because some of the young men want to go into network engineering. And it's important for young men, particularly young African American men, young Hispanic men, to see him and to see him as an image. And when he was telling me that him and Nyasha wanted to start, you know, BCPA, I thought it was a wonderful idea. Again, we all came around to support him, as well as the leadership within IMACP. So that is a huge competitive advantage that I think Microsoft has been able to really build compared to the Amazon and the Googles.
So you mentioned partnership being a two-way relationship, and you shared some about the community impact and the work that you've been doing in the community. Can you share more about how you and your organization are contributing to some of Microsoft's priority initiatives?
Well, right now, we are a part of the Accelerate Atlanta initiative, which is about the reskilling and upskilling of women and minorities, particularly the ones who've been dramatically impacted by COVID. We are training over 70 people in Microsoft 365 fundamentals, Microsoft Office specialist, modern desktop administrator, which is, you know, the service desk, the help desk training, as well as Azure AZ900, which is the cloud computing. And basically, we are, you know, on the basic end of the Microsoft Office specialist, that is just reskilling people for their digital IT skills and just trying to make sure that they become more marketable in the workforce. And then we are upskilling people who want to enter the IT, or they already in IT, but they're missing the cloud computing component. And the wonderful thing about this program is that we work with local nonprofits such as City of Refuge, University for Parents, the United Way of Greater Atlanta. We also provide loaner laptops. We also provide the funding for if people need internet access. We've been providing the gift cards for their mobile hotspots. I really want to, do a special thanks to Karen Fazio, who is leading the BCPA initiative, who helped get us funded to kick off the Accelerate Atlanta University program. We're working very closely with the Microsoft Store team here in Atlanta, led by Colette Cotman, and her team has come in and helped with training. We also are working closely with the Microsoft Atlanta Azure team. We have a lead instructor, Andrew, who is actually a Microsoft employee who's come in and in the evening is training people who want to get into cloud computing. And it's my support team, my facilitators, my education specialists, my instructors who make sure that they get the study guides. We help them through, we guide them through the IT certification process. We work with local staffing partners to help with job placement. We're working very closely with, of course, the different divisions and partnerships within Microsoft in terms of staffing and hiring. And so it's just really a very great initiative to see that Microsoft is saying, hey, we see that women and minorities are being impacted by COVID-19. Let's put in programs in place with our partners to bridge the digital divide. And so, and I just want to just share this brief story with you. One of the young men, when I found out last Thursday evening, we've had some really rough weather due to the Northeast with storms. He got on the bus, he went to the City of Refuge because there they provide computers, and the loaner computers had not shipped yet, but he got there late. He was in the rain, and he just wanted to be there. He wanted to be in that class. This week we made sure he had his loaner laptops. We made sure he had enough funding for the hotspot, so he's able to be at home with the internet. And he just sent us a very nice thank you email, because the reason why it's important that we work with these community and local partners, I think sometimes in our world of technology, we forget that, people don't have some of the basic needs, such as a laptop, such as the internet, such as, money for transportation, money for food, money just so they can make it. And, our community partners here, they do the work, but it's important that I stay connected with them. And I would have to tell you, Keisha, Wendy, you all would be so proud of the Microsoft Atlanta team. I mean, between Colette, Sandy, Michelle Thomas, Nav Singh, I mean, everyone has really, Nav Tesh Singh, we call him Nav. I mean, they have really stepped up and really are working closely in the community. The Microsoft Atlanta team that, Nav doing the Atlanta Hub, he's been doing training through the HBCU Alliance initiative, where they have been exposing. He brings in all the different team members from Microsoft, from engineering to marketing and accounting, and they're basically training and, giving the HBCU students exposure to careers at Microsoft. And then, and also later in March, we're also going to do another training with Microsoft as well. So another thing that they said they were going to do it, and Microsoft is delivering it.
Thank you for sharing that context and the detail. Can you talk about how you personally got involved in this work?
Well, actually, it was 2 years ago when I was in the Women in Cloud Accelerator program. And, I had shared with Chitra that, as an African American woman, and I just was getting a little frustrated that when I go to these meetings, when I'm always the only one. And I said, gosh, what's really going on, with women and technology, particularly women of color. What can I do to make a difference? And I started doing my research and looking into STEM and STEAM, and really realizing so many times women get discouraged in technology, and they don't really find, they go into companies, or they may go into an environment where they don't feel very, very supportive. So I said, what could I do to really make a difference? And that's when I said, you know what, I think I'm going to create an education technology division to really focus on training in the communities that, or that have been really disproportionate, focusing on African Americans, focusing on Hispanics. And one of the young ladies that I've been mentoring for the last 3 years, she's so smart. And I remember when she had to drop out of college, and I was like, gosh, her mother is just not getting the support. And it's a lot of women here. And even when the COVID thing happened, a lot of the frontline workers, the nurses are, African American, Caribbean women who had to leave the home and weren't able to set their kids up to do virtual learning. We're not able to be there because they're trying to work, and then some ended up losing their lives. So it's just been a really hard impact to see this lower working class that nobody really sees here, but they're here. And so when I started working with Atlanta Cares, which is ran here by Brenda Coleman, and National Cares, which was founded by Susan Taylor, who's the former editor-in-chief for Essence Magazine, they wanted to focus on the well-being of the child, the well-being of the parent. And so that's why you hear the program University for Parents. It's really about training the parents on technology, getting the parents devices. And so when we started working with them 2 years ago, some of the women were homeless women. Some of those women, they were middle to upper middle class at one point. But remember, if they get divorced and they don't get alimony, you'd be surprised how so many women become homeless. We also here in Atlanta have a really bad problem with human and sex trafficking. I think we're in the top 5 cities because we have the largest airport in the world. It's been very easy to move the human and sex trafficking. A lot of women of all colors here have been impacted. So we have some of those women who are also go through our training as well. So it was really just for me to help bridge the digital divide and not be in my world of no one. I'm in a world all the time when there's no one that looks like me. And then if I end up going to my technology meetings, I'm usually the only woman. So I really wanted to go into an environment where I felt like I could really contribute, help. Now, at the time, I didn't even realize how bad it was. I didn't realize there was so much homelessness, so much women being impacted by human trafficking, women not able to provide 3 meals for their children, every day. And think about it, if you're just on one income and you're not getting any other help from your family, that's just the reality that you live in. And you never see them on Atlanta. I mean, you never see them on TV. You see everybody else. You see Real Housewives of Atlanta, Married to Medicine. You see, women living large. And that's just not necessarily the perception of Atlanta. And, we do have a problem here where there is a large lower working class, and people are one paycheck away from losing everything. And so, you know, I didn't think the IT skills classes were going to take off. I wasn't really sure. I knew there was a need, but every time we do a training rollout, or we do something in the community, people just respond. And it was just me wanting to give back, because I felt like if I get to the top and I'm there by myself and I'm not helping and lifting another woman or another woman of color up, what's the purpose? You know, what's the purpose of having millions of dollars and you're not able to really make a difference? So for me, it was my therapy. But now it's starting to become a business.
Yeah.
So I feel like as a technology company, we have responsibility to train and educate people, because technology is going to keep evolving, it's going to keep changing. And the pandemic really escalated that. And the fact that we had loaner devices out there in the community, the fact that we had trained some of these women so they were able to be prepared and make sure their kids had the devices and they knew what to do. But I just said, I was thinking about all the people we did not reach, you know, and that's why we keep doing this, because there is such this need. But we have to give back. I just think that
Yeah.
I want to make sure people do not feel left behind, because now that we've reached AI, artificial intelligence, and you know, the way we're utilizing, you know, technology during this time, you can't live without it. So so that's just something that I feel very you know, compassionate about. So at first it was me trying to give back, and me feeling like I wanted to do something in the community. But now I think they're helping me more than I'm helping them. I don't know. But I definitely feel like when I give, I feel like I get so much more back from me. And that is to really make a difference.